How have you been able just to make sure that you accommodate all these generations? Because a lot of CEOs are struggling and they cannot admit they're struggling. So they put the pressure on the HR managers to handle that.
I think for me, I look at life as a result of outcome of consequences. So whether you're Gen Z and you went to Naivasha and you wrote that letter, it's just a matter of time before you regret it. Sometimes men are in a very bad relationship. It's not always the other way around. Sometimes the man is in a very bad relationship, but he can't move out because of resources. Because they are sharing rent, they are sharing this bill. You should not share. I think I've never been single since university.
Jehovah.
People always ask me, how do I meet people? And I always say, there's no door I can't knock. It's the information you have in your head. And I'm always joking for ladies, this is always a good opportunity because a lady, the fact that they are beautiful, if the neck came through that door, you will not chase them. You say, how can I help you? Then the next thing should be what comes out of their mouth. So you don't just knock doors, you have nothing to tell people. So people say, oh, how do I network? How do I? But you have nothing to tell people. Why do you want to meet them?
The euphoria around town is crazy. Download Koro and say hello to Easy Lending.
Another beautiful time, of course, coming live on your tablet, coming live on your mobile phone, coming live on your TV, either in your house room. Of course, you're watching from a taxi, you're watching from a matatu, you're watching from the house, you're watching from the office. Welcome to Kenya's fastest growing podcast. This is Lessons at 30. My name is the Eagle himself, the Duke of Kakamega. Dr. Ofweneke is my name, and it's always such an amazing pleasure, of course, welcoming you on Dr. Ofweneke TV. So as we continue, please make sure you hit the subscription button down there. And of course, tell a friend, you tell a friend, you tell a friend. This is not where we serve tea. This is where we serve wisdom and knowledge. This is where we grow together. This is a whole classroom. As you can see, the books behind the scenes, because this is Lessons at 30 with Dr. Ofweneke, right? And remember again, once again, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to sending money, when it comes to you making sure that money gets home safely in the fastest, most trustworthy way, all the way either from US, from Europe, from whichever part of the world, down at home, there's only one application to use. There's only one more to use, and that is Lemfi. Trust me, if I use Lemfi, if I receive my down payment from clients who are in diaspora through Lemfi, and I trust Lemfi, then please, if Ofweneke trusted, then you got to trust it. In fact, I can say the truth. I will be in London from the 23rd until from the 23rd until the 5th of August, and I will be hosting the Kenyans and Friends at the Perk. That's it in London. And of course, I've already received my down payment from my client, Madam Lydia Olet, who was once a guest on Lessons at 30, and it was through Lemfi. So I don't know what you're waiting for. You want to pay for a service, you want to pay school fees for a child you're supporting, you want to pay for building materials because you're building back at home because you have a plan of coming back home, and you want a place you can trust. Wacha hii mambo unatuma pesa, unakuja unapata unatumanga tu pictures za Pinterest na AI by your uncle and auntie na wajajenga nyumba ya ukweli. Tumia hiyo kutoka Europe all the way to Kuisero, unajenga nyumba kwa mabati. Please use Lemfi, right? Ladies and gentlemen, and those who are looking for a place of land, please, the Bible says that he that owns a piece of land, he that lives in inheritance for his children is wise. Please, part of this should be a piece of land. I have bought a piece of land in Nakuru next, that is in Rongai in Nakuru. And it was on a very affordable price. a very prime area, and very soon it's going to be a very well urban area. So you need to get a piece of land there. But for any other inquiries, please, you can only trust a tradition of trust, and that is username properties, giving you the best of them all. I don't know what else you're waiting for. In the middle of the interview, of course, I'll be showing you some little clips of some of the shambas that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to talk too much. The other day, the Forbes magazine released a list of the top African billionaires. And ladies and gentlemen, most of the time, for us who have done a little bit of research, most of the time, it's only a few families that have always been appearing on the top list when it comes to Kenya. But my goodness, a gentleman has appeared there. And when I did a research about his story and how heavy he is, I was pretty sure there must be a story behind the 1.1 billion or even above wealth status. Ladies and gentlemen, placed at position number 23. And of course, as we sit here, probably he could be actually climbing a rank higher. Placed at position number 23, ladies and gentlemen. The chairman and the founder, of course, of Odote Group Limited, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to welcome on the show the billionaire himself. A man, even me today, I need to have a pen and a book. I wish me got me a pen and a book because I'm about to get into class as well, just like you. Get your pens ready, class. We're about to get into it. What mistakes did he do? What success did he do? How did he get there? Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on Lessons at 30 with Dr. Ofweneke, the one and only Mr. Bernard Odote. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It is such an honor, sir. I know, I'm pretty sure your team is busy because of the numerous emails that come in and phone calls of people just wanting to sit next to you and get to just borrow 2 or 3 tidbits, wisdom nuggets of who you are and how your success story has been. So first of all, I don't take this for granted. Thank you for honoring me, sir.
You're welcome.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
1.1 billion worth. Did you ever see this coming?
And I think some things are inborn. Anybody who knows me knows I have a number. I always have a number that I'm targeting. And I tell every man to have a number that you target every year. Because if you don't have a number that you target, then you are the target. So I always have something I'm aiming at. And it's advisable that you aim for something big. Because 1 billion in whatever currency is achievable. It's just 100,000 times 1,000, and you'll be able to achieve it. So it's a possibility. It's the awareness of the mind. Is how you crunch the numbers. If I have 50,000 customers paying $10,000, that's already 500 million. So it's to ask yourself, what do we need to do to be able to break down this number and then build it up? So everything I do, I have foreseen, I have determined, I write it, I draw it. I don't just manifest by saying, I actually design. I have my designers on. Daisy is here. She knows if I think about it. I used to look after cattle when I was young, and I used to imagine ranches. We are building one now. I used to be in the farm thinking I'll have a larger farm than this. I think we are farming thousands and thousands of acreage. So it's what you see. And I like Steve Harvey says that your real life is in your imagination.
True.
So what is in your imagination? So how do you convert your imagination into reality?
Wow. Before we get deeper into it, there are. Were you shocked when you saw your positioning within in terms of the top billionaires in Africa?
Let me just say that position we are not sure because we are claiming it and owning it. And I think now the question that I ask after a lot of people reached out to me on that, I say, what about we do a 10x? And when do we do a 10x on that? So I think it's like when I graduated in school, I graduated top of my class and then I didn't celebrate because it's not a surprise. Because when you put the work, you're not really surprised.
There's an expectation already that you had of it.
So then I say, what if now, what's next? What's is it? Is 2x? Is it 10x? Is it 15x? And why not? Because somewhere there, obviously there are other factors. the African economy might not allow you to do $100 billion because the economy itself is $100 billion.
Itself, so.
Maybe the East African economy can allow, or maybe some AI will make us get an idea that will leapfrog, just like M-Pesa leapfrogged, and we could do things globally to get into a larger market. Maybe the Africa Free Continental Trade Area will enable us to do a few things cross-continental that make us reach 1 billion people. But in any case, the median age of Africa is 19. So half of Africa has never worked. So if I give myself another 10 years, they will be 29 and probably working. And maybe there will be my customers. And knowing that in 2050 we'll be one of the largest populated continents, then the question is, how do I reach these people $1 each every day on a product or a service that I'm offering to get into that 10, 20, $50 billion?
You're dropping insights, sir. They say it's one of the top Nigerian musicians and one of the most popular songs. And Peter Salasel likes alluding to the song that it's lonely at the top. And most of the times there's a notion that not a lot of wealthy people, they don't really have such a close circle within themselves. Are there guys among that list that you actually friends?
I think if you want to know how to live as a successful person, you need to look at, and I'm always using the example, the number 1 to 5 in high school. Was your number 1 friends with everyone? Or was he friends with number 2, or number 2 was competing him to be number 1?
Yes.
And was number 3, 4, 5 close? Potentially number 1 was alone. Maybe rarely friends with number 2. But if he was a good number 2, he should be fighting to replace number 1. We have friends that I represent value to. People who see me as money and I see them as money.
That's an interesting one.
Yes. So there's no time to be. I always say friendship is for women and dogs and children. But you have allies and partners.
Allies and partners.
Yes, and fellow warriors. Because then in the conversation of, say, building the largest retail chain, you'll have friends in that sector that you're not necessarily friends, but because you have this common purpose, you're really there for each other. So if you want to do agriculture, there'll be friends in that sector, people who are doing massive things that will be your friends in manufacturing or in banking. If you wanted to be a top banker, James Mwangi has to be someone you're looking into and known to you. Or Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan must be someone, whether you know them directly or not, but you are keeping a close tab to them. So it's people of value in different spheres that you must relate with, you must find them. I have a lot of mentors that are not necessarily my friends, that are older than me, and I just sit in front of them to listen. Whether I'm in their country, I just sit and tell them to talk. And in the talking, they'll say a lot of things that I pick from. So key to me is finding people of value, people who represent a purposeful outcome for each other.
Beautiful. Let's get back. Oh my goodness. I already have my number 2 point. My number 2 point is friendship is for women and dogs. Men have allies, warriors, and oh my God. One of my favorite preachers is Apostle Joshua Selman. And one of the deepest things he said, sir, was if you walk around in a group of 4 fools, count again, they're not 4.
5.
And you're the 5th one.
But you can also walk alone. I think it's a misconception that you need to walk really with people. Sometimes while you're alone, you strategize alone. Work happens in the mind before it happens in reality. And the gift and the imagination is only yours. So I think people are afraid of walking alone and saying, I am going to build the biggest conglomerate in Africa. I'm going to have 250,000 acres, 38 million tons of cargo, 25 million banked, 15 million sold to. And the people think that is too much, too aggressive. And only you can think of that. And only me wants that. And I don't want you to want it for me. Then I have to figure out how do I make it happen. So, and when we start business and have ideas, we bring friends and say, oh, I have this idea for a podcast. Can we do it together? Why not do it alone? People come to me and say, "Oh, I know the governor of this state or minister of this thing. Can we go meet him?" I'm like, "No, meet him, win the contract, subcontract me."
So it's actually okay to work alone.
It's okay to work alone. It's actually you succeed alone first. You only invite other people because of what you provide, or they come to you, or they gravitate towards you because you have a solution. You have value, so people gravitate towards you because they need what you have. The universe brings people towards you. So it's okay to work alone, and then you can call co-founders. So maybe you are doing something as tech. You write to someone, can you be a co-founder on tech? Someone has money, can you be co-founder and you finance it? Someone is good in marketing, can you be a co-founder? It's 100%, you can share it. But you maintain control because it's your baby, it's your imagination. So it's okay to work alone and ruthlessly so. So don't be afraid to... when you invite, having a discussion with 4 people is too much sometimes before you make a decision. They slow you down. Sometimes you just need to be alone until the moment where you have enough value to co-found with other people.
This gentleman, Odote, where is he coming from?
I'm a villager. I was born of a single mother when she was 22, taken to live with my grandparents when I was 4. So the cattle was in my grandparents' fields. I went to school in the village. People have got to Simbo Primary School. I went to the secondary school 3 kilometers away, Sigomre Secondary School. And then this came to Kenyatta University. I graduated economics and mathematics. I should say top of my class.
Oh, please. Why are you forgetting that you're low, kindly?
Over 96% average score. I only got 4% wrong on 80 units.
What?
So that's who I am. Then in campus, though before campus actually, the break before campus, because you take about 1.5 years, I did work in Mombasa. There was a movie called Passion of Christ. That was my first hustle. I got someone to send me the DVD from the US and showed people that across colleges and universities and churches.
Hold on. You waited for Mel Gibson to get into the studio.
Yes.
And they said, now I'm going to... In Mombasa, of all the places.
I used to be in Mombasa, and then I got to sell books, KCSE 1980-something to something, questions and answers. So when I go to schools to show them the movie, I also sell them the books.
What?
And
how much are you charging per view?
I think 50 shillings. But just know that when I went to campus, I had like 1.7 million shillings with me.
Wait.
Yes.
What was the trick behind the saving? You already had 1.7 million.
It's not. It's just that I decided I want to go to as many schools as possible. So I went to every school in Mombasa County or province then. I was in Mundanyi, Weruga. I was in Malaba. In the process, I met Majimaji. Majimaji is my first ever boss, Julius Ovino Ondijo.
Oof.
So we ran the studio as in at hours together, 4Play Records. And they still continued doing the Passion of Christ, selling books, and using Majimaji's name to go to concerts. You'd go to a bar in Busia and then say, I think the bar you would get collection will all be ours 70%, 30% for the restaurant, accommodation and food they give us. And we carry the musician, Rajin and Fracas and all these guys. But we only play Unbogable because that's all people knew.
Many faces was not out at that time.
I think he was just going to South Africa to do it. I'm not so sure if it was out or not. But it was between Many Faces and the establishment of Ghetto Radio.
Before we get there, let's not hurry up. I believe I want to make use of the opportunity and the honor. You grew up basically with your grandparents.
Yes.
Did at any point maybe the father probably dad was not around or probably and there was no relationship? Did it at any point affect you growing up?
I think lack of a father is a deficiency that we all have. I'm always saying that if you're a single mother, and like my mother, and even if you took care of the kid, the deficiency is like being born without a limb. And nobody needs to tell you, I used to be told you don't have a father, but nobody needs to tell you, just the forms you keep on filling. There's always somewhere to write a father. And if you didn't tell your child the name of the father, you're always putting him in trouble, yeah? So what do they say in this form? And people in the African society, they take the opportunity to remind you, you don't have a father, you're born out of wedlock. I'm not sure if I have a grace. My grandmother was very strong, so I'm not sure if it affected me. Later on, the trauma came out. But I think I always say, even in the village, even though I was the poorest, yet I was the wealthiest. Because I'm not a man of luck. I'm an abundant mind. So I see one cow, I see 100. And I'm a man, like, if number one is the position we take, that's the position we take. So whether I was in that primary school, number one was the position I took. So I didn't spend much time either with my mother. So you could say I didn't have my mother and father. I had a strong grandmother. But what mattered was that we became number one first. It didn't matter, because if my father wasn't there, it was his choice. My choice was to be number one. And then number one was going to take me somewhere. So whatever he took to beat everyone.
That's all you cared about.
That's all I care about.
The rest is issues.
Because that's the opportunity that was there. There was nothing else that was there. The only thing that was there is school. The rest is sideshows. I was sleeping, whether I slept in the house or on the tree or in the car or in the church. But as a baby, you sleep, yeah? Nothing really matters. You will sleep.
This is the only better you know for now.
That's all you know. I didn't even know women should drive cars until I saw one, because I was in the village. I was like, they're allowed to drive cars. Maybe I should have lived in Saudi Arabia for a while.
So you can get shocked. What is the first time you got into a car?
I don't know. Maybe after, I don't know. Obviously, Sunday school, we used to go do drama. This drama, I was Sunday school, very active. So Sunday school. But sometimes you were carried in lorries so that you didn't know where you are going. So when you stop, you can't tell which direction you're facing. But still a lorry is a car, no?
Doing economy and mathematics, you started planning in high school? Or because I know I think we have a tendency of I wanted to be a pilot at some point, I wanted to be a doctor at some point. Then now, of course, I ended up into law and then comedy, which is the most weirdest of trajectories. Is that what you wanted to do?
I think subconsciously I'm always a businessman. So, but also this is the things that you read that affect you. My grandmother ensured I read the newspaper at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday newspapers every week. And there's always a Nyangnyongo and Kibaki somewhere in those newspapers.
Yes.
So reading those things, I like tangible outcomes. And they had a lot of economic discussions. And somehow subconsciously that influenced me. And then also I liked mathematics and business in school because they are realities. The result is what it is. There's no assumption, no opinion. But obviously, because of pressure, you say you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a doctor. I don't think I needed to be a doctor. In high school, I was still doing some business here and there.
Again, even in high school?
It's always a transaction.
Was there a time you were not doing business, sir?
I think probably not, because in high school, I used to go to the local mandazi guy and help him and come sell mandazi to people in school. But he made sure I ate for free. So like I told you, I'm a guy of abundance. It's like, what can be done here? So it's always creating possibilities.
Oof. So you now, you're done with taking Jesus around in schools, if I can use that statement. Yes. Then now, how do you now start getting to meet people? Because now from there, after 1.5 years now, you now enroll in for your university studies.
People always ask me, how do I meet people? And I always say, there's no door I can't knock. It's the information you have in your head. And I'm always joking for ladies, this is always a good opportunity, because a lady, the fact that they are beautiful, if the neck came through that door, you will not chase them. You say, how can I help you? Then the next thing should be what comes out of their mouth. So the information you have in your head will open your doors. Because I'll go to places and you'll tell me, he's busy. I say, I'll wait. Then when I finally get to meet him, and what I tell him should be able to make him want to see me again. So this is the secret. So whether I was in high school or university, whatever sphere I was, I said I should have the best and the most information around this thing. So I just knock doors that I need to knock. I used to, when I started business, I used to drive around Nairobi and look at big factories, and I had a gentleman by the name Frank write the names of those factories. And if one gate was opened, we entered and we told them what we thought. And first of all, asked them questions and understood what they do. So it's just talk. In high school, when I was selling books, I discovered the secretaries were the most powerful people. So I made sure I'm friends with the secretaries. And when I was going to sell 3 sets of the books, I asked her to go for 10. And she came back with 11. So then I'd probably give them a commission. And some of them just liked me for a young person, maybe reminding them of their children. So meeting people is the information and the value you have. Then you can just knock any door. Just walk in anywhere. As long as you determine that place you need to be. Then you meet people. I met Majimaji because there was a gentleman bringing Sean Paul to Mombasa. He liked some money. I had some money. I gave him. He said, when you go to Nairobi, meet Majimaji. He introduced you to Maji. I used to be in the studio at 6 a.m. Maji saw that I'm in the studio 6 a.m. every day as long as I'm available. Every single day. And the habit remains. So Maji said, I leave you this studio. You do whatever you want to do with it.
What you want to do with it?
Because it's no value is adding when I'm there, apart from maybe production. So that's how you meet people. The commitment, the consistency. People start relying on you. People know they'll find a solution in you. So you don't just knock doors, you have nothing to tell people. So people say, oh, how do I network? How do I? But you have nothing to tell people. Why do you want to meet them? You meet them when you have something to give them. But you have nothing. You've not studied it. You've not revised it. You're not prepared for it. They don't need it. So how do you think you'll meet people? If you go to a conference, a big conference, and you have nothing to say, nothing unique or of value,
Tangible.
how will you meet people? If you greet someone and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, you are, what do you do? And they ask you, what do you do? So what do you tell them? Because they really want to network and see is there value that you can get from each other. And that's what networking is.
When you're meeting somebody and you're meeting a potential investor or a potential business ally, what are your first 3 introductory statements to them?
I think the meeting happens before the meeting. I think the meeting the meeting doesn't happen there. The meeting is way before. Preparation is everything. So I will not meet you randomly. But there are also random meetings. And in random meetings, if I meet someone that I never prepared for, but I doubt, because in life, everything is preparation. What do I know about my product? What do I know about my solution? Whose problem am I solving? What kind of investors can come in? So if I meet one randomly that I did not prepare, I already am prepared always. I'm always studying about what I'm doing. I'm always improving about what I do. So I'll be able to talk to them and pitch them what I want. And then for an investor is the viability of what we are talking about, the return, because you have to know that there's something in for him. So you have to understand what is it in for him. There's an investor who is focused on impact, the investor who is focused on return, the investor who just focused on entry into Africa.
And that's it for them.
So you have to quickly know what is this in for this guy. And if you're not prepared, ask for a meeting, for another meeting.
You can always ask for another
meeting. You can always ask, because I would like to pitch for you. This is what I do. These are solutions we provide. I think I'm not very prepared to pitch to you now. Could I get another meeting? Oh, and that's maybe they could just tell me what you do. Take chance. You never know.
There's always a notion, and at times I confound to that notion. Then there are times I fight it. What they normally say, if you ever meet, if for example I meet you, sir, and you ask for certain deliverables from me or from my company, 92 Degrees, that I should tell you I have it, even if I don't have it. Then I leave the office and go start looking for it. Is that dishonesty, or is this being smart? And is that an applicable theory?
I don't think it's in exactly saying that you have it or you don't have it. It's that you will find a solution because someone has it. So if they call me and say you put up an event of 10,000 people, I'll say I can do it. Because you can do it, because you can project manage.
Yes.
You can create a consortium.
Yes.
You say, I'll have Homeboys, I'll have Dr. Ofweneke, I'll have Cape Media, I'll have these people, and you budget. Even if I was a media company, I would still outsource. So I say, I'll do it. I just need to find out what I need to put together to do it. So he says, I can do it. And yes, you can do it. You can always do it, because you're always going to, nobody have everything in-house.
True.
So there's always someone with that solution. So it's right. I can always do it. But I'm saying you always have to be prepared. So how much do you know of your business? How much do you know of your industry? Who are the competitors? Who are the potential partners? Who are the potential financial investors? Who are the customers? There's someone competing you right now. In your industry, you have so many people coming
Yes.
up, new people. How do you make sure you kill all of them? What do you always think? And how do you view them?
I like how that comes out. Make
Yes.
sure get down with them, clear the space.
There's no fairness in business, yeah? It's real competition. So if that's the mindset you have, then when someone meet you and say, Ofweneke, can you do 100,000 people event?
Yes.
Of course, you can do it because you know homeboys have the equipment, you know you have the other MCs that you put, you know the musician, you know the DJs that you'll put, you know the media houses you'll put, you know the digital guys you'll put, you know the industry very well,
Yes.
more than anybody else. Of course, yes. It's like a project manager for a construction project. He's the one who makes sure the project ends on time.
Hana simiti lakini.
Na yeye sio contractor, but yeye ndo kusema kureview your project has ended upon time. So how do you say I'm a project manager? I'm the best project manager. What are you project managing?
Somebody told me there was a notion, it's still there, that in the beginning I used to be troubled with it, but this is I carry it proudly as an emblem on my coat, that I'm a little bit egoistic and I have some pride in me as a Ofweneke. And I realize most of guys it's because of my introduction that I'm Kenya's #1 MC, Kenya's #1 radio host, Kenya's #1 TV host. But I like what you said. Because Kenyans kuna kitu ya ati unajua mazee ati unaona Odote mazee dupo unajua nang'ang'ana tu kazana.
And I think people are born to be humble. We are told, be humble. I think maybe that will take us to heaven. But the Bible has a lot of violence. So God used to take by force. And God says, go kill them, their children, their animals, their crops. The David becoming, if you read the story of the David, and you read, I think it's in Samuel or Kings, and what motivated him to become, to beat Goliath. It was first wealth. He'll be given wealth. He'll be given a daughter, king's daughter.
Yes.
And tax-free life.
Those are one of the 3 best things in life.
It was only 3 things that David was promised and that he was told. If you kill this guy, this Philistine, you'll get wealth, the daughter, and tax-free. Yes. So competition and wanting to be the best is the only way. Most people are humble because they can't back it. And most people are afraid to say, I'm going to do $10 billion in 7 years or 5 years. Because they can't back it. They're half of the time of the weekend, they're dancing, they're clubbing, they're waking up late. They still want the life. They need it. They need that success, but they can't back it. So when I say I am the best supply chain person in the world, I can back it. And I like competition. Put me in the room. Let's converse.
Let's argue it out.
Let's compete. So I'm willing not to sleep for 72 hours just to make sure, yes, I'm the #1 MC, #1 host. I'm willing to study. I'm willing to do multiple things. So I think it's what you're willing to sacrifice. Then if you're sacrificing, you're allowed to claim it, but then back it. But people don't want to do the job. And so they can't claim it, because if you claim it, you back it. And backing it means discipline, consistency, work. You have to sacrifice certain nice things, distractions. You have to put them on the side.
What are the things you sacrifice, sir?
I don't think you sacrifice because they destroy you anyway. So there's no need to say sacrifice. Say
because in our layman's understanding, and of course, because I'm of a latter generation after you, the sacrifice that men we are teaching each other right now is that 2 things have to go: the love for women and the love for alcohol.
Okay. Yeah. Alcohol,
I'm
yes.
interested in this as it looks like it's going to be an interesting one.
Alcohol, I used to drink alcohol. I worked in the brewery, and I drank alcohol for a couple of years heavily. But it's destructive. You cannot be a good father, a good businessman, a billionaire drunk. In fact, there's nothing like normal drinking or abnormal drinking. After 2-3 thoughts, you are smiling. And why were you not smiling before? It's insanity. I call it voluntary insanity. And yes, most corporate people are drinking from Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Ask them when last they got a promotion. Why they're not earning $1 million today? Why not 3 million in the corporate world? These people you see called corporate managers, why are they not at 5 million? Why are they not at Pitandegwa? Of course, you could drink alcohol normally, but alcohol has an interesting way of embarrassing you. So at some point, it embarrass you, to delay you, to take your time. It steals from you. And the Bible says that it came to kill, steal, and destroy. It's not literal. It's the things like alcohol that do that. For women, men are born loving women. My son, he doesn't know it now because he's young, but he'll grow up loving women. Now, what have to change is purpose. So, do you have enough purpose to say, is it? I'm always arguing, telling people, if you're gonna date a girl, you're gonna ask yourself, do you want to have that girl, or would you like to be with that girl in a private jet? Because what are you getting? Just sex. Sex is available. So what more? How does it align to your purpose? How do you build each other? Because you're partners. If you're gonna be, it's a partnership. How do you build each other? So, because people say love for women because sex before was unavailable. Now sex is available. It just depends on your capacity and resources, but you'll get it. So now it's purpose. So if you really focus on your purpose and then you feel like you want sex, maybe you can come back to it. I tell people, when you travel, people who travel with their secretaries, I tell them, if you travel with a secretary, just make sure you see them at 7 p.m. And they ask me why. It's because you only waste the night. You have to sleep anyway. Don't waste working hours. Waste the night. So it's purpose. You can't say you'll prevent men from liking women, but do they have purpose enough? So that when a woman tells you, I'm in Naivasha, come, you don't leave us here and run. Because men, their brains are locked like a missile. They see nothing else. They just see Naivasha. You tell them, oh, Ofweneke call, we go for that meeting. Where too? When you come, utanielezea. Then I go do the business deal, and they tell me, oh, that was even my idea. I say, oh, your idea is in Naivasha. This has gone. And this is why I said you have to learn to be alone.
I'm really interested because I have my own reasons, probably, and you're proving me right why I quit alcohol as well. 2 years now, almost 2 years clean now. And I think most is because of the things you say. I realize I go out, probably I think I have the finances, because when it comes to conversation with you, I want to think I had money. I didn't have money. And I would afford at least 2 or 3 nice gold reserves a night. And 3 nights, and I wouldn't feel any pain per se. Then I realized I wake up hungover by 12. Maybe you were connecting me to a top producer from Hollywood. And he only is doing a layover between Dubai, Kenya, and Ghana. And the meeting was at 8 at JW Marriott. And I couldn't be able to make it.
I think most people say alcohol is about money. How much is the 3 gold reserves?
If I check at Gemini, I think I used to buy it around 17,000.
So that is 51,000.
Jehovah.
So 51,000 is really nothing, really. I mean,
that's why I said I think I had money when it comes to talking to you.
No, actually, it's actually really nothing for anyone. I tell my assistant Emmanuel here always that even if I pay you 50,000 today, and I promise to double it tomorrow, 100,000 is still nothing. Still 20,000 is nothing. That's the mindset. It's really nothing, because what are you going to do with it? Really to change your life, because that's the attitude you must have. That I'm going to change my life. How much do I really need to change my life? That's the fear we must remove. So it's not about money, about alcohol. It's about your destiny that it destroys. Because you could have all the money, but it still destroys your destiny. There are billionaires who are drunk, locking themselves in their houses. Their destinies are being robbed. Billionaires who have crashed companies because of alcohol. So it's never about the money. It's the person you woke up next to you didn't know. You're waiting for 3 months to see if this thing is okay. But even it's their destiny. It's your children's future. Can your children trust you? Are they being traumatized by your actions? Are you there enough? I've met people who still drink, and I ask them, what do you miss most? I say, time with my children. It's more of destiny. And people who say they drink normally and they still go to work, I tell them to be very careful. They are not just where the devil wants them to be. And maybe they have nothing to be stolen from. So if you really drink heavy, maybe the devil wants to destroy you because there's really something for the kingdom that you have. So again, you have to ask yourself, the normal drinker, maybe you have nothing to offer. So then you might want to find something to offer. Or you're just where the devil wants you to be. So it's not about money, it's the destiny that is being robbed from you.
You said after the whole Passion of Christ tour, 1.7 million by the time you're getting into now enrolling officially for your university education. How much have you ever lost? And you're like, what? This was a bad business venture. I thought so. My guts told me, somebody told me, but I still want to eat because I am me. But I have lost.
I think in the normal business, we lose because there are businesses that we've invested in and profitability maybe will be in 7 years or 3 years or 5 years. So that's okay. You have profit and loss and you make losses, but you know where you're going. Maybe you're building value. So loss for me is not a problem. I think the one I lost most was probably 13 million, but because of my own greed. No,
You lost 13 million.
but
You're smiling about it.
but I was probably 20 something. But
Wait, at 20 something, you had 13 million, sir.
at 26, I was being paid 3 million shillings. So
Because what are you doing? Creating the next space shift.
no, because because what the company needs is excellence, and I say excellence is worship. So
Wait,
yes,
excellence is worship.
yes.
Expound, sir.
If we say that we do things for the glory of God, but where can you demonstrate the glory of God most? Where people see you, no?
Yes.
Where do you spend most of your time?
At work.
So where should the glory of God be seen?
At work.
So what's the glory of God at work?
Excellence.
Excellence. That's worship. So what must you do to be the best in that field? So like I said, if I was in doing procurement, I was the best procurement person in Africa who just happened to work for that company. So when I worked for a certain French company, they paid me off Mauritius and they paid me over 3.6 million. I was 27, 28, 29, going to my retirement, living corporate world. And it's because I just believe that we must be the best.
Were you shocked by that 3 million? Did it shock you?
No, I can't be shocked for what I expect. It's because you are working, you are delivering results. If you are an A student, are you shocked when you get an A? If you can, you know how to test a student is to ask them for a topic and they open the book. You know the way you open the Bible? They say, open Matthews, and you just go straight to Matthews. That's how you test a top student. So you should not be shocked when you put the work. Sometimes you don't sleep. You put the work, you should not be shocked. And you should be desiring to get the 3 million. You see, why are you not desiring to get the 3 million? Why is the selfish desire to get, or what's wrong with you? You should be desiring, at least for your children then. If you have children, then at least for your children. Because I say if you don't desire for your children, then why should your children trust you? Or why did you have them? You should be, if you're at 1 million, you should say, let's 10x it. At least for your children then. So if you're at 500,000, what's the next logical thing? Is times 2, times 3. So it's tough, but the beauty is that 90% of people are not even trying. So if you try, you're in the top 10. If you try harder, you're in the top 1. It's doable. I have 23-year-olds who earn 600,000 at this moment. 23-year-olds who are just literally monsters. They work on Sunday, they work on Saturday. They balance their life. It's the way they know it. I call it life integration. They integrate their life. But they're 23-year-olds. What else do they have to do? They are not married. They are single. They're in their own houses. Why can't you use that time to be the best?
How long were you single before you decided to get into marriage?
I think I've never been single since university.
Jehovah.
I think God showed me my wife in the university, my last year. She didn't know up to 2 years later. But since God had showed me her, so I was never single. I was just gallivanting, but I wasn't single. So I've been with this woman for 17 years?
17 years.
Something like that, yes.
When you approached her, did you just because you look like a straightforward, like, hey, young lady.
I am straightforward.
God has shown me. We are walking down the aisle.
So when God shows you, God also makes the opportunity. So I think one Christmas we were bored with my friend, and we called a friend who was in campus to bring a friend so that we can go out. You know how boys are, you call.
Yeah.
And then she brought her. And I remembered that revelation, and I'm like, okay, a bit of confirmation. And
So the lady you had seen is the lady coincidentally who came.
who was brought, yes. And then we continued having the conversation. And she also prayed about it, and then she said she saw my car pass in front of their office at one point.
Really?
So God makes the opportunities there. The signs are there, and it's the awareness of the mind. And this is why I say why you should not. One of the reasons you should not drink alcohol or have pornography or gambling or women in your mind, or men for that matter. that you need your clarity of mind so that when you see something, because God shows you things in open, plain.
The signs will be there. They'll be in your eye.
But if your mind is not clear, you can't see. Things are on billboards that are meant for you. But your mind is clouded with the disco last night. Because, if you go to disco last night, there's only the music in your head. So the thing is on the billboard, but you remember the Ashao song last night. So I think we just got into the flow. Yes, I'm straightforward, so she knew that she's the one, but also God doesn't lie and doesn't make mistakes.
But I'm pretty sure you had an idea or a picture of the kind of woman that you wanted even before you met her.
I didn't know, given the childhood I had, I didn't know I would be married because I also didn't have a relationship with my mother or my father, so I didn't really think I would be married. And in campus, I probably had maybe one girlfriend because I focused on getting that first class. And since I didn't have a relationship with my mother, it affects you. So these things are real. They affect you on how you relate with people. Like, the soft side. My wife has been very patient with me. I'm not very soft as well. I think everybody should be a billionaire, which is not true. Everybody should be a first class honors, and I don't understand why you're not getting first class because which is it's not true. So she's helped me to go through that journey. You see, people are gifted differently. Everybody is needed. You should just be the best in your field. Whatever you do, just be the best in that field.
How long? Allow me just to dig in just a little bit deeper. But my person and I had an argument sometimes last week, and that is because by the grace of God, at least I've been polished up a little bit. Good English, can be able to hold a good conversation, and carry myself in the best way possible. But there are times when I get angry. The me that was born in Madare and raised in Mbotela and Dandora in the village comes out. And I think the other day I walked out of her house and my English dropped. And the last thing she tells me was, "Oh, unaniambia nini wewe? Acha ujinga wewe, yani upuzi." And I stormed out. And she told me, "Babe, I was so shocked." I was like, "Oh my God, has he turned into a thief?" How long did it take for her to get used to this other side, this farm?
I don't get angry. So you should stop getting angry
I hear you, sir.
because anger reduces your IQ by half. This is why there's the temporary insanity cases. It's true. It reduces your IQ. It takes away your judgment by half. So I don't get angry. I get disappointed. And I think I'm the one who's disappointing her. So I don't think she's ever disappointed me. I think I'm the one who disappointed her all her life. But I just address issues. It's either you're forgiving me or you're not forgiving me. I mean, there's no other two ways about this thing. I don't have time to go around. Either you forgive me, so you can take 2 weeks to forgive me, or not forgive me. So,
You don't have the time.
But if I've wronged you, what's the two possible outcomes?
It's you're forgiven or give me time.
Yes, so I'm always thinking, what happens if they don't forgive me? I'm prepared for that. It could be painful, but I'm prepared for that. But if I'm a good person, because that's what I focus on, can I be a good person? Not only to my wife or my child, but also to everybody else, to my employees, my partners. Generally, to be a good person, being in the other person's shoes, loving your neighbors, you love yourself, then I'll most likely be forgiven. But I don't want to spend time on argument that it adds no value. Nishakosa. Kama nimekubali, if I've accepted the mistake, you two things only. Guilty or not guilty. And that now the onus is on the other party. Of course, I know there's a way women want you to apologize, but when I focus on getting that first class or being the best employee, being this corporate titan or being this heavy businessman, sometimes you don't have time to apologize every day. So if you're honest, you're honest. But I don't get angry. The anger is something that doesn't exist.
You've taught me something. Though I this is I'm very calm. I learned to take a step back, close myself in my office or in the house, put some worship song. I think for me that has been my therapy of late. I feel like you're about to cross me. I just say, what?
Don't just get angry at all. Get disappointed. It's really nothing worth getting angry about. Because why are you angry? And think of anger, the word.
It sounds scary.
Yes, it makes you do things that you don't need to do. People who do many things in this country is a result of anger, one spot of anger. She took my phone, she saw something, she crashed it. I mean, it's useless. You see, yes.
Do you think apologizing to a lady takes away part of the masculinity of a man? Masculinity of a man.
No. If she's a lady you like and if, for example, my wife, I'm vulnerable to her. She's part of my masculinity. She's part and parcel of my masculinity. Doesn't take it away. So being humble enough, just like me, I have CEOs of various businesses. It means I'm humble enough to let them run those businesses, listen to their advice. I learn a lot. I ask them, if you send me an email with an abbreviation, I'll call you. What does this thing mean? You'll explain to me. Okay, then if I didn't know it, you'll teach me. So it doesn't take any masculinity away. If you are honestly on the wrong side, you apologize. She's a woman, no?
Wow. What are the qualities that you stand on? Value system as a man, especially in this era, because there's a lot of conversation back and forth that the woman is now becoming an alpha. She is running the show. She has the microphone on her hands and she's on stage. And the man, as you say, the man is busy 4 days in a week, every evening.
I think men should focus on generating resources. I tell men who come to me to complain about their wives that it's because you don't have enough resources.
Come on. Just say it, money. Please use the statement.
It could also be networks, because money follows activities, follows intelligence, follows resources. Money follows luck. All you need is, because sometimes men are in a very bad relationship. It's not only the other way around.
Yes.
Sometimes the man is in a very bad relationship, but he can't move out because of resources, because they are sharing rent, they are sharing this bill. You should not share. And I know men will feel bad and say, you don't know.
Thank you, sir. Please allow me to shake your hand, sir. I have been hit left, right, and center because I don't believe in 50-50.
You see, your life is your life with or without your wife. If I didn't get married, I still wanted to be a billionaire. It's nothing to do with me being married. I still wanted a first-class honors, girlfriend or no girlfriend. I still want to have 10 billion, wife or no wife. That's full stop. Then she comes as part of it, and she augments me and grows me and makes my life easy and makes me capable of producing and generating income and wealth and impacting lives and livelihoods. So men should focus on resource building. That takes time and takes your mind space, because the two things a man must protect is their time and mind.
Time and mind.
Because it's what you see. You look before you last.
Yeah.
Yes, is what you hear, is what you consume, whether with your mouth. So time and mind. So when you have purpose and you're saying, I am going to be the best teacher, because think about a school teacher in primary school. I'm going to be the best primary school teacher, be the headmaster. I know one who was a headmaster in primary, headmaster in secondary, is a vice chancellor of a university now, and is a member of many boards. And he could say, I want to build my own university now. He'll build it. So what's the difference between this guy and his colleague that he left in the primary school? Because I'm sure there's a colleague he has who is still teaching in primary school and has never gotten a promotion to date. What's the difference? How can a primary school teacher come to sit in boards of some of the largest banks and logistics companies and be a vice chancellor of a university and potentially could build a university himself? What's the difference? What's the decision? That's what
time and mind.
So time and mind. So when you have that resource building and purpose, it takes your time and mind. Then you have no much distraction, because then if Shelmy here called you for a date, you have to think, what else could I be doing now? That's very important. What else could I be doing of value? Could I be reading a book? And then you ask them, you think coming to a date with you is more valuable than me reading a book by Jim Collins? It's very important. And if it's more valuable, then she's the right person, no? Then you're answering the right question, yes. But otherwise, you ask yourself, spending time with this person, man or woman, is it more valuable than upskilling myself, than thinking about my business, than studying my competition, than reading about other better MCs, than looking at other talent managed companies globally, what they are doing, other speakers globally, what they are doing?
Submission. What is your understanding about submission?
Or from a woman perspective?
Yes. Because the conversation is submission. But I think from where we grew up is pikafua, pasanguo. Yes, sir, my love, you're welcome home, my king.
You know, in the office, if you are the best at what you do, naturally everybody in your office submits to you. But if you are a useless boss, they don't submit. And this, if I bring you a useless boss, you're managing you, you naturally don't submit. He's just your boss. He's there, but when you go for lunch, like boss yangu bure kabisa. But if the boss is good, naturally the team is learning, the team is following instruction, there's strategy, there's guidance, there's coaching. That's how it is at home. If you're a useless man, why should anybody submit to you? Because you're a mentor. My wife is my firstborn. She's the person I'm mentoring first. She's the person who represents me first. She's the person who I want when she's out there. She's Bernard Odote's wife. Thinks like Bernard Odote, speaks like Bernard Odote. My image is there. Then my son is the second born. That is the inheritance. That's the person taking over Bernard Odote. So if I'm doing my best to be the best in any field, why won't she not submit and support me and to be that? So just like the office, useless boss, no submission.
The house as well.
It's the same. And it has nothing to do with income. It's nothing to do with income because as a man, you can be fired today, go work in a construction site, and in 10 years, you own a factory, a cement factory. A man can do that. So if you're a man of that mentality, even your woman sees it. The mentality just oozes. Even your woman sees it. And that's why your woman says, in this season when you're down, I'm standing with you because I see cement factory in you.
But the conversation is right now, so that those type of women with that kind of demeanor do not exist anymore. But then if the money is out, then the woman is out. I'll be back when the money is back. The other day, one of the top viral interviews that went around was Pogba was saying that after he got banned, the woman left as well. And our fear of the men of our generation, sir, is that these days, my fear right now is because I just met this beautiful lady the other day and we're trying to work things out. And that's after being single for quite a while. And my fear is if today the name of Ofweneke goes and the wealth that came with the name of Ofweneke, and God forbid I am back in Huisero, will this woman pack her clothes and go back with me to Huisero?
I think the answer we should be having in this is why should the money go? Why? Because also for Pogba there was some doping, yeah? So there was an outcome. It's a consequence. You know, you don't choose the choice, you choose the consequence. Then the second thing is you attract your kind. So probably for Pogba, because he was popular very young, he didn't really have time to date and know this person, and everybody's throwing themselves at him. So maybe that's not the best choice he had. But probably the real wife was just in someone they were playing with in Marseille or whatever part of France he used to play when he was young. That's why the real wife is. But of course, he came to be a star, so it could be an issue. But you attract your kind. Because men with resources have options, yeah? You have enough options. So then you choose the option based on maybe the beauty or the dancing or whatever it is. So if that's what you attract, they will leave you because that's what they came for. But then coming back to say, if Dr. Ofweneke went to Kuisero, then the question, why should Dr. Ofweneke go to Kuisero?
God forbid.
I don't even think God is in this thing. When I go for a very big meeting or negotiate, I don't even pray. The prayer is in the work. Faith is in the fact that I've decided I am going to do 38 million tons or I'm going to do 1 million acres in agriculture. And I start. That is faith. That is real prayer. That is the prayer. So then I don't even imagine that something will go wrong. If you're already down and you're going up, why should it go wrong? It's just a consequence of decisions. And it's always a negative choice you made. like alcohol, like the wrong woman, like the wrong company. I even think alcohol and woman is less dangerous than the company you keep, because that's the company that influences you in the choices that you make. So nobody should ever think. I know things go wrong, and I've been an alcoholic and a drunk, and things almost went wrong. But then I took them in my hand and chained them. And nowadays I go to places where we used to drink. I find the people we used to drink with there, and I ask them, why did I pass you? Because you had a head start. If you're a normal drinker, you didn't drink as heavy as I did, or you never even drank, why did I pass you? And there are also people who have never drank in their lives, or actually virgins, who are as useless as the most heaviest drinker you can imagine. So we always have to say what's the best that can we be and demand it out of ourselves. Have a selfish drive to succeed. You are the first person to demand it out of yourself, because why not? So Dr. Ofweneke should be saying that whatever your dream is will come true. And you force yourself, you force it to come true. From here, you go for another meeting, to another meeting, to another meeting. You sit and work Monday, Tuesday, Sunday to Sunday, Christmas, work. Because what else are you doing? Integrate your life.
I am loving this. Setting up a company. How hard has it ever been? How easy, whichever way?
Entrepreneurship is hard every day. It's easy every day. Mm-hmm. It is every feeling you feel. It is one morning you wake up to a big contract. Next morning is a cash flow issue. The other morning is a losing contract. But I think the bug is there, the excitement on the possibilities. You see, when you imagine things, then they come. There's nothing more spiritual than that. You imagine a big building, then it happens. You imagine a big contract, then it happens. It's like planting wheat. You put it in the soil, it disappears in the soil. Then in 4 months, it's nothing more spiritual than that. Then you harvest it. So knowing that also entrepreneurship is not only your life, you're impacting other people's life and livelihoods. I'm always joking when people say that they tithe. I tell my pastors I'm the biggest tither, because the tithe of those people, I'm the one who paid it.
Yeah. I have never looked at it like that.
And there are pastors who wash their own cars. So who should go to heaven? A pastor who washes his own car, or me who wants to employ 100,000 people? Because the pastor is not even employing someone to wash the car. So the purpose of entrepreneurship is the God's economy, is enabling lives and livelihoods. Having people working for you, you being a service provider for other people service provider for you, creating a circular economy, is doing what we are created to do. So it can't be hard. When people tell me how was your day, it can be difficult, yes, but as long as it's within my purpose, it's within the direction that has been given, then it's not hard. Day. I will push it. I'll break the wall. But if I was going to Naivasha to a girl and then I had an accident, then that's really a bad day. But since I'll never find myself there, if it's within your purpose, it's just a difficult day.
Oh, so get an accident, go to see a girl, bad investment.
But a very bad day. But difficult days are there. Difficult. Because if you say, I don't know what your total turnover is, but if you say in 12 months you want to hit 1 billion shillings turnover, it takes a kind of different mindset and energy and focus and time and meetings to do 1 billion shillings in a year. It's 250 million a quarter, but it's possible. Then after 1 billion shillings, then we say it's now 5, then 10. So I think the question will be, after this interview, you say, what will Dr. Ofweneke as a group do to do 1 billion shillings a year? And most people don't even do 1 billion shillings a year. They just make noise in town, because it takes a lot to just do that 1 billion, then the next 5, then the next 10.
Damn. Because I know a lot of guys are watching, and the question is, I was doing this, then maybe in terms of economy and the tabulations and everything, the business fell and they had to close down. And they're asking themselves, how do I get back on my feet? And I'm just wondering, have you ever got into a day whereby you're like, you know what, this concept is not working out. And I'm sorry, but guys have to go, but this is not working out.
Even now, I'm in that process. I'm always in that process. One of my former employers, who is I think they do maybe $2-3 billion a year in turnover. Every 2 years they're in that process. And there was this I can't remember her name. She was in an interview with or diary of a CEO, and she was saying also knowing the right time to let people get out of business, so that the person who got you to $1 billion is not necessarily the person who take you to 10 billion. And I've lost everything. There's a time I had an issue. I lost even my house. I lost the car, and I went back to my cousin's house, and I told her, in this house just have Wi-Fi, fuel your car, and whiskey. I was still drinking then, and I just started doing what I know, just the computer. I always tell men, if you are kicked out of the house, get a bed sitter. We'll pay it for you for the whole year. If you have a car, we'll fill the tank. Then get a laptop and Wi-Fi. We'll also pay the Wi-Fi for the year. Then just start. Just start with the skill you have. You always have a skill. You always know someone. You can connect people. You can connect things. And in 2 weeks after losing everything, Masaku 7 was happening, and I'm the one who brought the musicians. And we made a lot of money out of that. At least I bought another car cash the next day. So in 2 weeks ago, I had nothing. Next 2 weeks, I had like 12 point something million. So it's possible. You just start and compound and keep on compounding. Who do you know? Because what do you know? If, for example, if you went to Quisero, you just emceeing in the weddings. Who do you know came to that wedding? It could be a very huge guy that came to that wedding that you never know. That then changes your life again. And when you meet the huge guy, you tell them, actually, for me, I want to create a production studio and I want to do a media house. He say, yeah, even me, I've been thinking to get someone in the media to invest. So I'll invest in you having a media house. Yeah, with a full set agency above the line, digital and all these things. In that wedding that you are emceeing after everything fell apart and you went back to Quisero, that you went to MC and you say, wedding by wedding, event by event. And your life changes and people will say, oh, this guy maybe is dating an old woman with money or Illuminati, because people don't believe in just compounding.
Yes.
Just compounding. It will happen. You just start again. Even the guys who lost their shops during the riot, just start again. It's tough, but it's tough already. So then what are you going to do?
It's literally the bottom.
Yes. So you could say, I'm a good salesperson, so let me start selling on behalf of people. Then let me start selling on behalf of the distributor. Then let me tell the distributor, now give me the stock on consignment. I sell, I pay you. Then you open a shop. So I've told you, a man can lose a job, go work in a mjengo, work diligently, become the foreman, become the project lead, become a very big real estate developer, or even own a factory. It's possible in 1 to 10 years. And I always tell people who have gone through trouble, or even people who are 75 years old, if I gave you $1 billion today, will you remember your problems yesterday? I just gave $1 billion today. You don't. It's gone. So because that possibility is always there, pursue it. Because if you don't do it, someone is doing it.
Somebody's going to do it.
Someone in a worse situation than you is changing their lives. There's always someone in a worse situation than yours who changed their lives and became something.
You have worked with I'm pretty sure you have different age groups and demographics within your corporations, and I've been doing a lot of corporate talks for a lot of corporate companies in terms of human behavior integration, in terms of how to integrate between Gen Zs and millennials within the office space. And the notion is millennials are easy to work with. But the Gen Zs come with a whole different notion and a whole different perspective and outlook about life. And the other day, there's a letter that went viral on TikTok of a young lady who wrote to a HR of a certain company, told her, hey, I didn't make it for the interview because we went to Naivasha and there was Sheree. And please, you can give that job to somebody else. But I'm sorry, I will not make it. I think that was the context of the conversation. And I'm just wondering, how do you, being firm that you are, how have you been able just to make sure that you accommodate all these generations? Because a lot of CEOs are struggling and they cannot admit they're struggling. So they put the pressure on the HR managers to handle that.
I think I'm a bit different, so maybe that's why I've asked for help from my other senior leaders to handle the human resource part. I think for me, I look at life as a result of outcome of consequences. So whether you're Gen Z and you went to Naivasha and you wrote that letter, it's just a matter of time before you regret it. So I don't really feel that people should struggle to accommodate those people who don't want to be accommodated. If you're coming to work, you come here to produce results. We are partnering. You will deliver results. I deliver your income. I deliver your growth. I deliver your network. I deliver your bonus and potentially even shareholding. So there could be different ways of doing it. Maybe they want to work from home. Maybe they want to work over the weekend, or they want to work at night. But the end of the day is the outcome and the results. So someone like that, it's just a matter of time. I mean, life has one way of doing things. You either do it the right way, or you suffer the consequences. I think this is something that we are not telling the Gen Zs, and even the millennials, we're not telling them. That you're actually the outcome of what you put in at home. I'm always joking that the results you see in KCSE, or I don't know which one they announce, I think it's KCSE, they announce a lot, is actually the result of the work ethic that the children see at home. Those whose mothers postpone work and fathers procrastinate also do the same in school. So I think we need to, yes, integrate the Gen Zs, allow them to work the way they work. Maybe they want to listen to music in the office. But a really high-performing Gen Z, and I have some, and I have one who's doing very well in the US. I have one who is actually my business execution assistant, meaning he's doing business directly with me. He's a very ruthless guy. So this person emailing from Naivasha and this person is ruthlessly executing business. What is their path? Where will they end? So this is an honest conversation that we should have, that in work and in business, you come here to produce results. Those who cannot produce results can continue doing sherehe. They shall be employed by these other ones. And the society will just sort of manage itself. That should be there. The office setup, how it is, Gen Zs doing parties in the evening, that's a different story. Working and ethics is the same. Is outcome or nothing. And a lot of Gen Zs need to know that the choices have consequences. If you don't upskill, if you're 25 and you've never worked, how are you going to get employed? You have no skill.
No experience.
If you're 28 and you've never even sold, then the best skill maybe if you don't want to work, you should pick is sales. Because sales is why you grow your own income. And you can be, all of us are looking for monster salespeople. But we should be honest that if you are 23, 25, 24 and you've never worked, 26, 28, never done anything, never sold, never opened anything, it's just a matter of time before you suffer. And you will suffer.
The system will come for you.
It's a matter of time. And we know that's why they disappear off the scene. Because also there's a Gen Z working. There's a Gen Z at 25 who is becoming a manager. There's a Gen Z who is doing his second degree, who is doing his technical course. There's a Gen Z starting a business. Most people who sell computers and phones and all that sell to me are all Gen Zs. And they're building. These people coding and doing apps are Gen Zs. So why do you want us to listen to you who is not interested and leave this other out?
Niko sherehe, mtu wangu. Niko sherehe.
Yeah, endelee sherehe. After he or she celebrates the life will celebrate her too.
A celebration of life.
So that we should be very honest about it in everything. Like I've said, there is someone in Koinange who's changing her life and pushing and becoming the best, and there's a virgin who is sitting at home. So who should lead you?
What an illustration. Point home, sir, as we almost wrap up on it. And of course, remember, please, you cannot be sitting here and you don't have money. I mean, we're talking about time, mind, and chance and purposes. And you have lost your business and you don't know how to get your business back. Resources are always close to you. And that's what I'm telling you. Get into your App Store or your Google's or whichever phone that you have system. Download Koro Loan app. And of course, Koro, 1, there's no registration fee. 2, there are no hidden charges. 3, it is actually accredited by the Central Bank of Kenya. And if you behave when you download Koro, if you borrow, pay, you can actually borrow up to 200,000 Kenyan shillings. So download Koro, and this is what I'm talking about. So as we almost wrap up the interview, sir, you have really, you've not really come out about it, but you seem to have some passion for the entertainment industry, because you were part of the guys who brought in Sean Paul in the beginning, and then we stole his mobile phone and his watch that had his whole album, and he never came back until the other day. Then also Masaku, how much interest have you had with the industry?
Quite a lot. I'm a director at Homeboys, so and a shareholder at Homeboys Entertainment.
All right.
And I partnered with Majimaji in his first studio. Then Mike Rabar bought me my own studio, which I worked with Yolo Ngoma.
Oof.
I've worked with Main Switch.
And Mheshimiwa Jaguar.
I worked with the Saudi Soul guys. I did a lot of work with Tusker. We did Twende Kazi. That's why we did Masako Sevens. I worked with Jamison. We brought Cabo Snoop. That was actually Tusker. Then B.O.B., DJ Kid Capri,
Yes.
DJ Drama. I have alliances for WWE for Africa, apart from South Africa. So I met them in SA.
So you can actually bring John Cena, Brock Lesnar.
We don't just have the venue, but they can. And also maybe the commercials are not right. We brought Sony Music here, signed Red Sun. Red Sun is a close friend of mine. Took him to Sony. Took Sony to Tanzania. My partner in Tanzania is actually Joseph Kusaga. He's the owner of Clouds Media and the Masafi and all that group. So the entertainment industry is close to me. The challenge is that none of them wants to be a billionaire. So it's that none of them is committed enough to really narrow down whether it's music, whether it's media, events, digital, agency, and the whole package entertainment. I think it can be taken. I think it can be taken over. I think there's a possibility that that someone can come up and take over the industry in terms of monetizing it. Also, there are a lot of songs that I see these young guys now, very popular song, but I don't know how it's being monetized. Events are everywhere. Everybody's doing an event. I'm not sure how it's being monetized. And I also think the entertainers that we have are sort of kneeling down to corporates and begging them, create a brand that they follow you. I will be in shows in Meru, probably created by myself. Make sure I'm so popular. That's something like what Eric Omonde did with those stadiums and all these things. Sometimes you need to force people's hands. You need to force people's hands to say, we cannot do this thing without this guy. So you must imagine what will make me the biggest entertainer or entertainment company in this country. Then follow it through and force people's hand. I think we're always asking for people to help us here. They're not interested. MCSK or that music operator is not interested. So force their hands. Make sure Kenyans can buy you from you directly, or create your own Spotify, or I don't know. But in business, you force people's hands that they follow you. So one must come out to probably be the one that collects all this music and monetizes it on behalf of all these people. And maybe what you're doing about the influencers, putting them together and being able to negotiate for them better. So I think that could be interesting if all the musicians and even speakers, I've been thinking of why we don't monetize someone like Faith Kipyegon to become a speaker, Eliud Kipchoge, and you be the manager and the owner of that program for speakers, and have them everywhere that they know they'll earn $1 million shillings minimum, and they commit that they'll only be booked through you. That could be interesting. And even if the rest don't follow you, if you have a third of that group of different set of entertainers working with you, then you command a lot. And then you can do an event and charge 2,000. I see Kenyans are back to attending events. You can do an event and charge and monetize. So it's the ruthlessness and most also the discipline. So when I had the music studios, the toughest thing was, or even when I bring artists, is to get them to wake up. Because they drank last night, they smoked weed, they went out, and it's how do you want to make money? So the discipline in the entertainment industry is also really one thing. But it's difficult because you are tempted. If you are called to a club to appear, the girls want you, the bar gives you free alcohol. Everybody just wants to destroy you. So,
Ouch! That was a little bit. That was a little bit under the belt.
yeah, but it's distraction, because then if you had to at a meeting tomorrow at 7 a.m., how do you make sure that you unsee the bottle they gave you, unsee the girls they gave you, or you unsee all those things and do what you want to do there and go.
It hurts how right you are. So yesterday, I'm a director at one of the clubs on Northern Bypass called Anchor Address, and yesterday we had one of these Kikuyu big artists, Mogidhi, to use the word, Tony Young, and I kept receiving my phone calls from my co-directors. Hey, talk about that. Come. Mind you, it's around 3 minutes away from my house where the club is situated. And then I told myself, so I go out. I was at Red Room on Friday. I had an event until 4. I was still at Anchor, where I was doing the event myself again on Saturday night until around 4. Yesterday, I woke up, head to the airport, came to the house, then went for a client's meeting the whole afternoon. I'm meeting a very important gem who might make an impact in my life. Am I sure I want to go out, then oversleep, then probably be tempted to cancel the interview and cancel out an opportunity that might change my life? No.
So that's the sacrifice you asked earlier on, and actually, and when you say you are in event until 4, the question I always have is, at what period was your performance set? This I always ask entertainers. So the big entertainers, if it was 30 minutes they're out. They finish, they're out, and that increases their value as well, and it allows you to think and sleep. So I think that's the challenge we have in it. That sacrifice, that saying, what's more important? Because you are entertainer, you're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to finish the work, go. Or have 10 gigs. What if you have 10 gigs, an hour each? Then it means you have to keep time. So this is the challenge we have for the industry. But a robust industry now, I think probably the right time for the industry. The young people are coming. I don't know who is managing them. I don't know which studios they are recording. I don't know how digitally they are selling their music. But also, we need to determine where in the industry is their money. Is it in the product or brand placement? There are people in this industry, even in radio, who are so popular for so long. I always thought they should have their own diapers. I'm always telling my team, if this guy works for me, I'll have created a diaper for him. And all mothers will have bought the diapers. And he will be very rich. And tissue papers. But the awareness of the mind, once you distort the mind with whiskey, the mind cannot be aware. I can tell them, they will never understand.
What is it that BN is doing that people are not doing?
But I think for BN, you can see it from long time, because he's obviously the Southeast leader, and if he speaks, if you're not careful, you think he's arrogant. And even pushing to do things with Diamond in Nigeria, you could see he's pushing, and he's determined where he needs to be. If Diamond is going there, or Davido, so simply put, BN has determined he's on the level of Diamond, Davido, Wizkid, that level. That's where he is.
Burna Boy and
that Burna Boy, yes, that's where he is, and that's what he's pushing. And he's getting there, and he will get there. The Nigerians and the Tanzanians need his sound to penetrate East Africa, and his sound is actually very Pan-African, very
authentic,
very authentic sound. So he's determined that he's going to get there. So you have to, I told you earlier on, you have to have a target or become a target. So when you
have to have a target
or become a target. So if you don't have a target like the other musician, for example, you don't want to be Burna Boy or beat Burna Boy, not even beat Burna Boy, then you become the target of the promoter or the corporate gig guy or the marketing manager, and who just wants to take advantage of you to do a gig with them. But if you have a target like BN, so imagine now a promoter calling BN now, or a corporate. Imagine what they'll be thinking before the discussion, before they call BN, that we want BN for a gig. What will they be imagining? Would we offer him $1 million an hour? Is he taking 3 million nowadays? What is it? So in that conversation, they probably come up with 3 million or 5 million to offer him, just because the target is put for himself. And we used to do that long time with Redson. He was a mystery. So before you call him, you have to imagine, how much will this guy take? So that you come with a good offer, before you even negotiate, and probably was lower than that. So that's the beauty of having a target, because now, if you wanted a brand to hit across Africa, BN will probably be your best bet as a Kenyan brand that wants it to hit it. BN will be your best bet. And reaching out to those stations, and sometimes people would imagine that, oh, BN is so popular, the station just called. What if he just determined, I will set up an interview with all these stations, and tasked someone, like you task Shelmy now, that we get me this BBC, get me this American breakfast show, get me this, get this, get this. I task my team. I have PEs and investors I want to meet. Sometimes I read them on an article. I send my team, I say, make sure you get this person. Tell me what you need. We search, and we find them. So when you see me with them, you'd imagine they looked for me, but I looked for them. That's the determination that is there. So if you're going to beat Burna Boy, I think currently the biggest artist in Africa, you have to be that level, and Burna Boy will say, I have to do a song with this guy. And someone else will say, I have to do a song with this guy. And someone will say, I have to do a song with this guy. And then BN has to determine that Kenya will never match him, that no artist in Kenya will ever be at his level.
Because clearly right now, I think it's BN then Steve was Simple Boy.
Also a guy who has gone through a lot of things. 1 week, things are very bad. I don't know, he's being kicked out of where. The other time, I'm seeing he's very popular, and I'm like, he has such a mindset just to come back, and by the look of things, I think he's doing well. But for BN, he has to determine that he has to destroy every other entertainer, not even musician, every other entertainer, anybody the corporate might think of hiring or for big money is destroyed. And that must be his attitude in East Africa. So Diamond is the East African competition. Then we have Burna Boy on the West African side.
Yes.
And then now we have South Africa, maybe someone. Then now we have this African competition. So if you wanted to choose an African artist to come to an event, you only have like 4 or 5 choices, and he's there.
So Diamond, Saudi Soul, maybe Kofi at some point. I don't know. From if you're looking at more central,
you'll have Fally Ipupa there.
Fally, Fere.
But I think those ones have enough market in France and
Belgium
and
the
Belgium,
rest.
and Fally has also determined to modernize their music, and that's how he came out. And I'm sure there are people who told him, if you leave Kofi, this will not happen, and he had a direction, and you just go. If you are wrong, you're wrong. But how will you know you're wrong? And why should you be wrong?
Sir, you have dropped some things. I don't think I've heard you speak in this in depth, and you have spoken to me even before you've spoken to the students of Lessons at 30. You have spoken to me about a lot of things, and truth be told, there's some perspective about life that I have to change, and also because there's things that you've also assured me that I'm on the right path, because I'm on a change of purpose, as a man, as a father, and also as a team leader as well. So when I was telling my team, this is the last year that I'm identifying as a comedian. From next year, Ofweneke is not a comedian again, and I may not really respond to that title, because the funny me is done and put in the basket. Now I'm looking at Ofweneke as a corporate trainer, as a team leader, as a visionary, in setting up a few things. I'm looking at myself as behind the scenes, but making things work in front of the screen. So I think you have really, really spoken to me. I will send an official request for mentorship opportunity. Please, when it comes, allow my servanthood.
Thank you. I think you should also model around who are you looking at? Maybe Steve Harvey, maybe Oprah.
Yes. Actually, funny story is Steve Harvey saved me from being deported back from the US. Because the first day I went to the US, I was at the Homeland Security for almost 5 hours, because my event was on July 25th. I arrived on June 25th, and I had to explain why am I a month earlier. So until when they entered into my bag and they found me reading a Steve Harvey book about egos. And that is what saved me up. But also over and above, Ofweneke as a brand has always been advised on Steve Harvey as a brand. In the Kings of Comedy, Steve was always my favorite. So even the wearing of suit, the branding myself for the corporate market was always based on what I learned from Steve Harvey as a brand.
So now model the business. So that now there's a Steve Harvey the brand, and there's a Steve Harvey the businessman. So the question is, what businesses is he running? what is he invested in, what is he converted his brand to be a business into, which have different CEOs. So the comedian part, you might not be the comedian, but you might have comedians and artists, and the media part and the agency part. And all this become the Ofweneke group, so that they run and they eventually run independently of you, and you can invite investors and co-founders in those businesses. And you say now, I know Scanad, I don't know, they announced maybe 2 or 3 billion shillings turnover. A lot of media houses make 4 or 5 billion shillings. It's possible you can pass them easily.
I hear you, sir.
Yes.
If there's anything else we have not talked about, my goodness, please, you need to just do enough research and get much more content out of this gentleman. Such has been such an honor, such a pleasure. Guys, like I've told you, London, we are meeting from the 23rd all the way to the 5th. Of course, I'll be hosting the Kenyans and Friends at the Park, so I'll be seeing you there. And of course, you know what we say. If you want to send money back at home safely, trustworthy, Lemfi is the way to go. Lemfi is the way to go. And welcome Lemfi into Egypt. Of course, we have just stepped into Egypt. So we are going across Africa, assuring you that Lemfi is the only safest way for you to get money back at home for either US or Europe or whichever place. UAE and all those other countries. And of course, username properties, we are still selling them at very good offers. Please own a piece of land. You cannot be around 25, 40, and you don't even own a 50 by something. Please, life is about investment, and those are one of the things I'm getting from the gentleman next to me, right? And of course, after this, najua either steam imeisha, token imeisha, gas imeisha, uko na fee balance hujamaliza. We are starting to think about fees for next term. I know you've requested for your stock from China. They're at the port. You don't know how to get it out, or probably you want to increase stock on your shop and you wonder where can I get an easy loan. Get into your phone. Say hi to Easy Landing. Koro is waiting for you. Download Koro so that you're able to, of course, to sort yourself out. No hidden charges, no registration fee. It's accredited by the Central Bank of Kenya. And you can, if you borrow and if you behave yourself when you borrow, then your credit score goes up and you can surely borrow up to 200,000 Kenyan shillings. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ofweneke TV. Lessons outside of Dr. Ofweneke. My goodness, it's been such an insightful one today. If you have not learned anything, then I mean, probably you are an angry person who your IQ keeps on reducing, as we have been told. I had only 10% left on my anger, and now even the 10% is not valid anymore. So I'm officially a happy soul. I can now identify as a happy soul. Thanks to you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate it once again.
Thank you.
Hii mkono najua ni watu wengi wametamani sana kuishika. I tap into the favor, sir. Asante sana. Ladies and gentlemen, see you in the next episode. This has been Lessons at 30 with Dr. Ofweneke, brought to you by 92 Degrees Creative Hub and, of course, Pro Studios. God bless you and please have a good time. To all the ladies, to all the men, be strong. You can sort yourselves out. Asante sana.
The euphoria around town is crazy. Download Koro and say hello to Easy Lending.